Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. EU leaders meet in Brussels, warn that there would be no winners in a trade war with the United States, insist on hitting back if Trump imposes tariffs. Elon Musk says work is underway to shut down the US foreign aid agency, USAID, in government's cost-cutting drive. And Prime Minister Modi congratulates Indian-American musician and entrepreneur Chandrika Tandon on her Grammy Award for Triveni. Beyoncé becomes the first black woman to win the Album of the Year. European Union leaders are meeting in Brussels to discuss efforts to boost Europe's defences in the face of an aggressive Russia. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer are expected to join the talks. The agenda includes geopolitics and transatlantic relations, with Trump's latest trade measures a key concern. The gathering in Brussels is seen as a triple first. It's the first time that the European Union's 27 leaders are meeting since the US president's inauguration. It's also their first ever dedicated talks on defence and their first meeting with the British Prime Minister since Brexit.
I'm very sure that all the Europeans understood that it's necessary that we develop our defence industry. We need better scales, we need more concentration on a reduced number of successful weapon systems, and this is the basis for all what we are looking for.
Reacting to US President Donald Trump's tariff threats to the European Union, EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said there are no winners in a trade war.
We were listening carefully to those words, and of course we are preparing also on our side. But what is clear, there are no winners in trade wars. If United States and the US start the trade war, then the one laughing on the side is China. We are very interlinked. We need America, and America needs us as well. The tariffs increase costs. They are not good for the jobs, not good for the customers either. That is clear.
French President Emmanuel Macron stated that if Europe is attacked on commercial interests, it will have to make itself respected.
It's simple. We think the priority of this strategy agenda and the security of our port. If we are attacked on our trade topic, as a power that holds, Europe has to make itself respected and react.
Meanwhile, Luxembourg Prime Minister Luc Frieden said that the answer to trade tariffs is to reply with the same measures.
Tariffs are always bad. Tariffs are bad for trade. Tariffs are bad for the United States. They are bad for those who see tariffs imposed. But the answer to tariffs is to reply with same actions.
US President Donald Trump's announcement to impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China has sparked widespread concern over potential economic implications of the move. Tariffs come into effect on Tuesday, ahead of which Trump is all set for talks with the nations in question on Monday. A report.
US President Donald Trump has announced that he will hold talks with the leaders of Canada and Mexico on Monday to discuss the tariffs. The outcome of these talks remains to be seen. President Trump has signed off on punishing 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and an additional 10% tariff on China. The tariffs are set to take effect on Tuesday.
I'm speaking with Prime Minister Trudeau tomorrow morning, and I'm also speaking with Mexico tomorrow morning. That have to balance out their trade. Number one, that we've got to stop people from pouring into our country, and we've stopped it. They haven't stopped it. We've stopped it. They have to stop people from pouring in, and we have to stop fentanyl, and that includes China. Fentanyl has killed this year at least 200,000 people. It's pouring in from China through Mexico and Canada, and they've got to stop it. And if they don't stop it, the tariffs are going to get worse, a lot worse.
Though the United States is an essential trading partner for the three targeted countries, Canada, China, and Mexico, US imports from Canada, Mexico, and China combined was over $1.2 trillion for the first 11 months of 2024. It represents just over 40% of all US imports. US accounts for 77% of Mexican exports and 84% of Canada's, and US accounts for 15% of 2024 China exports. Experts predict significant economic implications from these tariffs. The US economy could face higher prices, reduced growth, and potential job losses. The global economy could also be impacted as trade tensions rise. Monday morning saw Asian markets stooping, along with US equity futures pointing sharply lower as well. Canada, Mexico, and China have vowed to respond to the tariffs. Canada and Mexico are preparing similar tariffs on US goods, while China says it will take necessary countermeasures to defend its interests. While Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum ordered retaliatory tariffs in response to the US decision to slap 25% tariffs on all goods coming from Mexico.
Esta medida del 20
First of all, we categorically reject the slander made by the White House accusing the government of Mexico of having alliances with criminal organizations, as well as any interventionist intention on our territory. Sovereignty is not negotiable. We have a strategy, we address the causes, and we fight impunity. Every day we work for the security of the country. Ottawa will file a World Trade Organization claim against tariffs and also seek redress under a regional free trade deal. Ottawa also unveiled on Sunday a list of 1,256 American goods it plans to target in a first round of counter tariffs worth 30 billion Canadian dollars starting Tuesday. US President Trump says the tariffs are necessary to address concerns about illegal immigration and drug trafficking. However, critics argue that the tariffs will harm American businesses and consumers, to which Trump says that the harm from the tariffs will be worth it. Antara Sinha for DD India.
South Africa's Minister of Minerals and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, suggested on Monday that if the US wishes to withdraw funding, Africa should perhaps withhold supplying them with minerals. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa also said that he looked forward to engaging with Donald Trump after the US president said he would cut off funding for South Africa, citing land confiscations. Meanwhile, South African currency rand, stocks and government bonds all fell on Monday.
You passed an Exploration Act, therefore Trump would withhold funding to South Africa. And I said, let's not mobilize Africa, let's withhold minerals to US. That is it. If they don't give us money, let's not give them minerals.
Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen reiterated on Monday that Greenland is not for sale. She said this after US Secretary of State Marco Rubio cleared last week that President Trump's interest in the Danish territory was not a joke.
I think we have been very clear from the Kingdom of Denmark, with great support from the European partners and the European Union, that everybody has to respect the sovereignty of all national states in the world, and that Greenland is today a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a part of our territory, and it's not for sale. The chairman, the leader of Greenland, has been very clear that they are not for sale.
Meanwhile, protests erupted across the United States over the weekend against the Trump administration's intensified crackdown on illegal immigration. In Los Angeles, hundreds of demonstrators rallied against US Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, over its increasing deportations and arrests, including those of non-criminal migrants. Similar scenes played out in Dallas, where activists marched in opposition to President Trump's immigration policies. ICE has ramped up arrests nationwide, detaining between 900 to 1,200 people per day, a sharp rise from the daily average of 311 in 2024. Billionaire Elon Musk, leading President Donald Trump's federal cost-cutting push, has said that the administration is working to shut down the U.S. Foreign Aid Agency. Speaking on social media platform X, Musk confirmed that efforts are underway to dismantle the agency, which distributed around $72 billion in global aid last year. USAID plays a key role in humanitarian efforts from public health to energy security, providing nearly half of all UN-tracked aid in 2024. Bart De Wever, the leader of the NVA, was sworn in as the new Prime Minister of Belgium on Monday. Almost 8 months after an election, 5 parties came to an agreement on a grueling alliance to establish a government in the nation. Attending his first summit of the European leaders in Brussels on Monday, Prime Minister Bart said that it would be an error to think that Europe could defend itself alone and that it needs to continue the NATO alliance.
To think that Europe can or should defend itself alone. I'm an Atlanticist, and we must continue our alliance with the United States. I know the situation is complicated, and with the new president of the US, it will be a challenge, but you always have to look for the long term, and I think this alliance is important. But having said that, Europe has to strengthen its own defense position within NATO.
A fire at a gas processing plant in Russia's southern Astrakhan region that was struck by Ukrainian drones on Sunday has been contained, as per Russia's news agency. The governor of Russia's Astrakhan region said that a gas processing plant in the region had suspended operations before coming under a Ukrainian drone attack. The drone attacks triggered fires at a major oil refinery and a gas processing plant and disrupted flights from the Volga to the Caucasus Mountains. Ukraine's military said that it hit a Russian oil refinery in the Volgograd region and a gas processing plant in the Astrakhan region overnight. Meanwhile, 1 person was killed and 4 people injured in a blast at a residential building in northwest Moscow. Among those injured are a senior pro-Russian paramilitary from East Ukraine's Donetsk region. Russian news agency called the bombing a well-planned assassination. On to the West Asian crisis now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to begin talks on Monday on brokering a second phase of the ceasefire with Hamas, his office said as he visits Washington. Netanyahu's office said that he would begin discussions with Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, on Monday over terms for the second phase of the truce. The total number of hostages freed so far is 18, including 5 Thailand nationals who were part of an unscheduled release on Thursday. According to the ceasefire agreement, negotiations on implementing the second phase of the deal should begin before the 16th of the first phase of the ceasefire, which is Monday. This stage is expected to include the release of all remaining hostages, a permanent ceasefire, and the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. The 24th edition of Medlab Middle East has officially kicked off at the Dubai World Trade Center, bringing together over 800 exhibitors from 40 countries for a 4-day showcase of cutting-edge medical laboratory technology. Running from February 3rd to 6th, the event is expected to welcome over 20,000 attendees, cementing its status as a premier global exhibition hub. A key highlight this year is the Women's Health Leadership Forum, which gathers female leaders to discuss advancements in diagnostics, early detection and personalized medicine. With 62 Indian companies participating and 12 CME accredited conferences, Medlab Middle East continues to drive innovation in healthcare and laboratory science.
Podium gives us a very good entry into the Middle East and North African countries. We have been working closely with few of the governments categories, specifically in medical devices, and this gives a very good opportunity for us to showcase our different product lines, specifically in terms of diagnostic product lines. And this trade is really wonderful. It gives us a lot of opportunity to interact with different kinds of people, specifically distributors and hospitals, which gives a brief idea about the overall market accessibility to us. Thank you very much.
You're watching DD India Live. Still to come on the show. World Health Organization (WHO) proposes budget cut after its biggest funder, the United States, exit from the agency. And India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar slams leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi for speaking falsehood about his US visit in Parliament.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. The World Health Organization is facing a potential $400 million budget cut as member states gather in Geneva for the agency's annual executive board meeting. The move comes after former US President Donald Trump withdrew US funding, leaving a significant gap in WHO's budget. WHO's Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus is urging Washington to reconsider and engage in dialogue on further reforms. The budget discussions set for February 3rd to 11th will shape the agency's funding and priorities for the 2026-27 period. On to India now. Both houses of Parliament are discussing the motion of thanks to the President's address. The motion was moved in the lower house by BJP MP Ramveer Singh Bidhure and seconded by Ravi Shankar Prasad. While from the opposition bench, Leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi made his speech in the debate in Lok Sabha. The proceedings in the Rajya Sabha continue as a debate on the motion of thanks to the President is underway in the upper house. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar slammed Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi over his remarks on his US visit. Taking to social media platform X, Jaishankar wrote, and I quote him, "Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi deliberately spoke a falsehood about my US visit in December 2024. I went to meet the Secretary of State and NSA of the Biden administration, also to chair a gathering of our Councils General. During my stay, the incoming NSA designate met me. At no stage was an invitation in respect of the Prime Minister discussed. It is common knowledge that our Prime Minister does not attend such events. In fact, India is generally represented by special envoys. Rahul Gandhi's lies may be intended politically, but they damage the nation abroad." Unquote. Quality leadership and a people-centric development model can bail out its people from any difficult situation anywhere in the world. Bodoland territorial region in Assam has rightly proved it, where peace and prosperity started sustaining after decades-long agitation and violence. Let's know what made the difference with the help of the Bodo Peace Accord of 2020 in the region.
Every day we see the news of war and crime across the globe. People are really looking for peace and harmony, which never comes easily. It needs dynamic leadership, a good government, a good policy and collective effort. Bodoland territorial region has set an example in this regard. Once known as one of the most disturbed corner of the state is now heading towards peace. But how it's been possible, let's know.
This is Kokrajhar, one of the 5 districts of Bodoland territorial region. People are here today celebrating peace and prosperity. However, the situation was not the same just a few years ago. The democratic agitation to fulfill the aspiration and protect the socio-cultural identity of the economic rights of the Bodo people eventually turned into a decade-long armed conflict and community clashes. Development was far-reaching for its people. However, the situation had started turning around with a change in the leadership in center and state as well. Bodo Peace Accord, signed in the year 2020, was a masterstroke by the then leadership, which emerged as the beacon of hope for the people of Bodoland later on.
So after 2014, when the leadership change in the country, then we saw that there is the change in the policy also. That after that, हम लोग को भी convince हो गया कि अभी कुछ होगा.
Ever since the accord was signed, stability in the region started to prevail. People in BTR today talk about peace and harmony and want to forget the past of violence. One of the major successes of Bodoland Territorial Council, the governing body of BTR, was successfully convincing thousands of militant cadres to come and join the peace process.
अगर आज से 10 साल पहले आप इस जगह पे आए, किसी को आप नहीं मिलते थे, यहाँ पे कोई नहीं आता था. हिंसा को दूर करना और जो इलीगल वेपन्स जो है उसको दूर करना वो हमारा एजेंडा में था. तो इसीलिए हमने इसको किया. हमारे जो भाइयों हैं हथियार लेके बैठे, उनसे हम खुद जाके मिला, बात किया.
Besides that, adoption of people-centric development model, what they call it community-centric approach, had established harmony amongst the communities in the region. BTR today has set an example in regards to bringing peace in a trouble-torn area. There are many other disturbed corners in the country where the BTR development model may be considered as a pathfinder. It must be realized that guns can't win any battle if it is taken by the civilians, especially in the country like India. Realizing the same, BTR today is heading towards peace, setting example for others. Kamal Bora reports from Kokrajhar, Assam, DD India.
On to some sporting action now. Live Golf's debut international series India concluded on Sunday with American professional golfer Ollie Schniederjans winning the title at the DLF Golf and Country Club in Gurugram. The result ended the 31-year-old's 9-year wait for a title since he turned pro in 2015. DD India's Abhishek Prasad reports.
The stunning DLF Golf and Country Club in Gurugram provided a breathtaking backdrop for 4 days of thrilling golfing action as a packed crowd witnessed the best of the sport at the inaugural Live Golf's International Series India. American professional golfer Ollie Schniederjans stole the show, clinching the title in style on Sunday to emerge victorious in the tournament's debut edition. 31-year-old overcame a 3-shot deficit with 4 holes remaining in his third round to win by 4 shots over Bryson DeChambeau and 8 shots over Joaquin Niemann and Abraham Answer after shooting a final round 69 to finish at 10 under 278. It caps a remarkable comeback from the American who has failed to qualify for the PGA Tour since 2019 and missed out on the final spot in the Live Golf League in December. Schniederjans' win is a remarkable one given that he had replacement surgery on both hips in 2022 and was out of the game for well over a year. It was his final attempt to fix a whole host of injury issues which had derailed the career of a player who was ranked the world's top amateur in 2014 for 41 consecutive weeks.
I had to learn a lot through that process, and there were setbacks. It took me years to get to this point, and this year has been good. I've been able to be on the course all year for a year now, and I've been able to put everything together, and I knew something like this was coming.
India's Anirban Lahiri ensured he was in the top 10 in the tournament, for which he worked really hard to make the event happen. Fellow Indian Gaganjeet Bhullard, the 11-time Asian Tour champion, was T24 on 7 over, 2 ahead of Karandeep Kocher, with Yuvraj Sandhu on 11 over. The next event of the Asian Tour is New Zealand Open, followed by the International Series Macau.
Live Golf's inaugural international series in India concluded today at the prestigious DLF Golf and Country Club. The 4-day event showcased world golfers at their best, making it a momentous occasion for Indian golf. The event proved to be a game changer for Indian golf, putting the country firmly on the global golfing map and making way for future international events. In Gurugram with cameraman Naveen, Abhishek Prasad for DD India.
And the 67th edition of the Grammy Awards, celebrating the best in the world of music, took place in Los Angeles on Sunday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Indian musician and entrepreneur Chandrika Tandon on her Grammy Award for Triveni. Beyoncé became the first black woman to win Album of the Year award. Nora Jones, the daughter of sitar maestro Pandit Ravi Shankar, took home the award for Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album for Visions. Rock and roll legends, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones each won awards in the rock, metal and alternative section. And moving to India's immediate neighbour Bangladesh, where the cornerstone festival for the Hindu community, the Saraswati Puja, is being celebrated with enthusiasm and religious fervour. Saraswati Puja or Basant Panchami is celebrated every year when Hindus worship Goddess Saraswati to mark the coming of the spring season. On this festival, Hindus gather to perform puja and in educational institutions and temples, seeking blessings for enlightenment and learning. The gorgeous Saraswati Puja has been arranged on the premises of Jagannath Hall of the Dhaka University, where devotees throng to perform the religious rituals. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.